Well, square foot gardens are wonderful things to have, just like any type of raised bed. They can be so easy. Watering is something we're always trying to figure out. And Bryn, you've got this fantastic system that, well, I'm not quite sure how it's put together. So please explain to me.
My friend Shirley here, during the summers would be out here watering, and it took forever, and it's hot. So I kind of wanted to shorten that time that it takes to actually do the water. The second thing, once I built it, I did a little research after I built it, and I found out there's some other benefits, like measuring the water. Actually, how much water are you putting on your beds? The general rule of thumb is 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain a week. Well, we don't always get that. But if you do the math, 1 inch deep on a 4x8 square foot raised bed is 20 gallons, 5, 10, 15, 20. So this is 1 inch of water for the bed. If we already got a 1/2 inch this week, then we just fill them up halfway. If we didn't get any rain, we can give them 1 inch of water. So that's the other thing, we can measure it. Also, it's a little bit more efficient because there's very little evaporation now. There's just little individual holes in those feeder lines there, and they almost inject the water right into the soil, so there's very little on the surface. So all of the water is going into the plants.
So you're really doing a form of drip gardening, of drip
it's
water
really
here.
what this is.
Fantastic.
It's really drip.
We've got the plastic buckets.
Yeah, and we've got them raised up. We need, we need gravity. So I've got roughly 18 to 2 inches to 2 feet here. To the top of the water is closer to 3, which is really what you need. But this water pressure, these buckets are all tied together underneath. The hoses come up underneath to the bottom. I've got a screen down to keep any particles from getting into the water system and plugging up all those holes. We fill them up the night before, and all we have to do is fill up one, and because they're all connected, they all fill up. We come and we turn this little hose here, and water comes out.
Well, that is fantastic. Is water coming out of each of these at the same time?
Yep, they're all tied together. They're essentially one big thing. And by the way, that's water pressure is really kind of important for this to work, because you want the water to come out all the way down to the end, and you lose a little pressure along the way. So you need to have all of this water, raise it up, and it'll do the whole thing. Now we realized, well, we've got these other beds, so what can we do about that? So what we did we put a hose on it, and there's a connector right down here, and I can unscrew that connector on this one and screw it into that one, or this one, or that one over there, and we can water any of these beds without having to move this big old thing around.
From this particular location. Well, this is absolutely brilliant. I really, really like this. I guess a couple of tips for people. You can't just put any flimsy table for all this water to sit on. Water's pretty heavy.
8 pounds a gallon.
All right.
20 gallons, that's 160 pounds.
Okay, so you need a good sturdy base.
Yeah. The other thing you need to worry about, and we learned this from bitter experience, is that once these buckets are empty, wind can blow them over. So we've got rocks in them right now, but eventually I'll tie them down some kind of way, but that's another project.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, and I guess the final thing is make sure if you fill it up, you need to go ahead and use that water within 48 hours so you're not just breeding mosquitoes.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We don't need the water if we got 1 inch of rain naturally. If we got a 1/2 inch of rain, we could fill the buckets up halfway. But when once we've done the watering, we let these things drain out completely, and that way we don't have problems with mosquitoes. The mosquito larva is not going to go through a life cycle in one night. And that's generally how long we have water in these things, and then we're done.
Wow, this is fantastic. I love it. It looks to me that it could even be incredibly useful for my garden that's far away from my rain barrel. Certainly saved me a few steps there to just turn it on and let it go. So thank you so much for showing this to us, and I know Shirley is very happy these days.
Well, you're very much welcome.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.